I have two KastKing reels that I'm going to be talking about in this video. First is the MegaJaws. This is literally the first cast. Go. So that was a nice long cast. No problems there, no backlash. Spartacus. Let's go ahead and sling it. The biggest difference is Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Clayton, aka Casting with Clayton, right here on the good old YouTube. And I want to first say thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day, night, morning, evening, whatever, to watch this video. I greatly appreciate it. Now, what are we talking about today? So I have with me two KastKing reels that I'm going to be talking about in this video. The MegaJaws and the Spartacus 2. Now, what I want to do is just talk, hopefully briefly, about each of these. Now, I might miss a specification, okay? So if I don't go over something that maybe you are looking for pertaining to one of these reels or both of these reels, you can drop a question in the comments below, or you can go ahead and click the link that is going to be provided below in the description, where those links will take you to each of these reels pages where you can find out every single specification under the sun pertaining to the reel. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to, go over this reel and point out a few of the things that I know are probably the most important to me and probably the most important things to the average angler. So with that being said, we're going to talk about them. And when I'm done talking, I'm going to actually spool these reels up and then take them and go fishing. So you are not just going to have to sit here in this video and watch me do nothing but talk. No, we are going to fish. Whether or not I catch anything, well, that is to be determined, and that will just be an added bonus if I happen to catch a giant in this video. So once I'm done fishing, we'll come right back here to the office where I will sit down and I will tell you my final thoughts and give you my final impressions on these two reels. So let's start out with the MegaJaws. Now, the name MegaJaws, as you can see by looking at the front of this reel here, that's where they came up with the name MegaJaws, because this reel happens to actually look like jaws. I mean, this looks like shark teeth here. So I think that that is a super cool feature about this reel. Excuse me. Now, let's take a look at the Spartacus. Why is this called the Spartacus? If you look at the front of this reel, you can see here sort of that the way that it looks, if you look at this as a whole, this would actually look like the face or the mask of a Spartan warrior. Okay, and that's why this one is called the Spartacus. So both of these reels, the way that they look, again, is just a very cool feature about them. Now, if we take a look at the reel handle on the MegaJaws, you can see that the way that they have this cut out is that these little cuts in here could resemble like a shark fin or something like that right here. And then if we take a look at the Spartacus right here, it's kind of hard to see, but these little cutouts in the reel handles, that resembles a spear if you look closely at it. So, I mean, they really are paying attention to detail and how the name pertains to the appearance of each of these reels, which I think that that's super cool. That's a cool touch. Now, let's talk about the tension spool knobs. Now, on the MegaJaws, if I can get this reel handle to stay there, when you adjust the tension knob here, it's going to click. And you should be able to hear that. So it is a clickable version. And if we come to the Spartacus, on their spool knob, tension spool knob, when you turn it, you don't hear anything. So that might be a feature, the clickable feature, that might be something that's important to you. Maybe it's not important, but that is going to be one of the noticeable differences between the two reels. Clickable version on the tension or the spool knob, tension spool knob, whatever you call it, and then the non-clickable version on here. As far as the drag is concerned, both of these reels have a stopping power, a fish stopping power in terms of the drag at about 17.6 pounds. So that is going to be the same in both of these reels. Now, moving along here, let's go to the side plate. On the MegaJaws, the way that you're going to access the spool is by simply pressing this little notch right here. It's just a little tab on the bottom. You're just going to push it in and then push down on the side plate. And that's how you are going to access both the spool, which that looks super cool here. Again, the reds and the blacks. I love the way that that looks. But you're going to access the spool and you're going to get it to see the magnets. So here on the MegaJaws, you can see that there's 8 magnets. And that is your magnetic braking system, guys. That is what is going to control the amount of tension that is placed on the spool. And then we come to the Spartacus. It's going to be very similar, almost identical in terms of how you access the spool. Just push it in and push down, give it a little twist, and then pull out. Now you can see here, you've got the 5 magnets versus the 8. And here is their spool. Different colors. This is the purples and reds. Again, I think that that looks super cool. But again, so you've got the 5 magnets here on the Spartacus versus the 8 magnets here. So that is also going to be a difference. Now, in terms of how noticeable of a difference, well, that's yet to be determined. Again, I have not fished either of these, so I'm not quite sure when I'm trying to control the amount of tension on this one versus this one, even though the magnets are different, it might be irrelevant, okay? I might not have any issues with this reel in terms of bird's nest and backlashing just because I have fewer magnets to control the amount of pressure that is placed on the spool versus this. But in terms of a difference, yes, it is different. This has 8 magnets. This has 5. Now on the side here, the way that we control it is by simply just turning this little dial. This goes from 0 all the way to 9. And again, every time you turn that, that is applying pressure to the magnets on the inside. And on here, same thing, from 0 to 9. So you have the ability to adjust both of these. Just in the MegaJaws, you are getting the 8 magnets, and in the Spartacus 2, you are getting the 5. So we're gonna play around with that a little bit here later in the video when I actually spool them up and go fish them. Now, in terms of the way that it feels in my hand, so the MegaJaws comes in at a whopping 7.5 ounces. I would consider this to be a lightweight reel, guys. This does not feel heavy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm 5'11". I do not have giant hands, and this fits perfect into the palm of my hand. So it is very palmable, it is lightweight, and it feels great in my hand. Moving over to the Spartacus. This is, without a doubt, probably the most noticeable difference between the two reels. This joker feels tiny in my hand. It only weighs 6 ounces, guys, and I don't have the exact millimeters in terms of the profile, but I can tell you that it is smaller in terms of a profile height and width versus the MegaJaws. And at 6 ounces, again, it feels so light in my hand. Now, I don't know if I said this or not already in the video, but I do have the first edition of the Spartacus, and it is not 6 ounces. I don't know the exact ounce on it. It is not 6. It is a little bit more, and it is not the same millimeter and the height in terms of width. This is totally new, a totally new design of the reel. And like I said, I mean, it feels so small in my hand. So that is a noticeable difference between these two reels. This Spartacus 2 does feel way lighter and way smaller than the MegaJaws. Now, when it comes to the bearings, the MegaJaws has 11+1 bearings in it, while the Spartacus has the 7+1 bearings in it. So that is another difference. But where they are both the same is how you can fish them and where you can fish them. They are both rated for both freshwater and saltwater fishing. And as far as color options, you do have 4 different color options in both of these reels, which is cool. But where they are different in terms of the color options is that for the MegaJaws, the 4 different color options are going to pertain to 4 different gear ratios. With the Spartacus, you do not have options when it comes to the gear ratios. It is a set gear ratio at 7.2 to 1 for the Spartacus 2. So obviously that is a noticeable difference in these 2 reels. You're going to have more choices when it comes to gear ratios with the MegaJaws versus the Spartacus. Last thing that I want to touch on is the price, which there is a little bit of a difference here in the price. So for the MegaJaws, this is going to come in anywhere from about $62 to $70, again, depending on the gear ratio that you select, while the Spartacus is going to come in at just under $50, 47-ish, somewhere around in there. KastKing's motto is affordable innovation, and they absolutely knock it out of the park when it comes to that. To be able to provide reels at this price point, made up of these components, it's mind-boggling, and I absolutely love that about their products. So very affordable, both of these reels. And guys, I'm excited to go ahead and get them spooled up and put them to the test. And I think that we're going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, so I'm out here, got to my first spot, and what I'm going to throw first is the MegaJaws. Now, as you can see here, I have put some 50-pound KastKing braid on the MegaJaws. I'm going to use this as my primary topwater setup, so that's why I opted for the braid. Good old thick stuff. So let's get this frog in the water and see if we can maybe put one on the bank, but get a good feel for this reel here. Let's do it. All right, so here we go, guys. This is literally the first cast with the MegaJaws. Let's go. And boom. So that was a nice long cast. No problems there, no backlash, which is always a good thing, of course. Maybe I'll catch a fish. We'll see. I'm gonna work this frog. Yes, it is February 1st out here, but I'm in Florida and we do things a little bit different in terms of fishing. You never know what these fish are gonna do out here. As you can see, no backlash, guys. That's a nice long cast there, no backlash. So now let's go with Spartacus. Now what I've done here is I have a 50-pound backing of braid just to start out, and then I have the 15-pound KastKing covert fluorocarbon to finish out the spool here. So let's go ahead and get this one into the action as well. Let's go. All right, here we go. Press that thumb bar in, let the bait drop. Looks pretty good. Got a good fall rate. Now, one thing to keep in mind, guys, is if you're facing wind and you got the wind blowing into your face, that makes casting more difficult. That's where you're gonna have to play around with the brakes and the tension knob even more so. And I do have a slight breeze in my face, but let's go ahead and sling it. Well, there we go. Nice cast, no backlashing. I got a swim jig tied on here. And what I love about this reel is how small it is. I mean, it just disappears into the palm of my hand. The retrieve feels good, nice and smooth. That's a nice far cast with ease. Hands free, no backlashes. Oh, took the swim jig off, tied on a crankbait, throw around a different bait now. Let's see how the reel responds to this. A little bit different weight. All right, let's go. Boom. No problem with that cast right there. Started to overrun on me a little bit there, but that's where I used my thumb to stop it from really backlashing. Okay, so I'm running out of time out here today to fish, but took the frog off, put on the jig, gonna really slow things down here. So now I've got the jig on the MegaJaws. Oh, there we go. There we go. There's one. Hey, got one. Woo! Finally, the skunk is out. Finally, I got one. Yes, the little jig eater. The MegaJaws came through with a fish. Man, that feels good. There we go. There we go. He stuck it. That's a freaking good fish. Yes. That's a tank. Stay on there, baby. Oh, he stuck the Mega Bass Dark Sleeper. Yes. Finally. Come on. Nope, stay down. Yes. Yes. Boom. There we go. Oh, did it. We did it. Look at this solid chunk right here, everybody. Oh, finally. Patience pays off. Made the switch to the Dark Sleeper. Put it on the Spartacus too. And bam, look at that fish. Yeah, that is a solid 2, maybe 3 pounder. Got to get a weight on it. Let's do it. Here we go. 3, 8, 3, 7, 3, 7, everybody. Bam. Heck yes. That's a solid fish right there. Woo! Feels good. Thank you for coming to play. Ah, yes. Adios, you. All right, well, walking to my last little spot here. It's 1:20. Ran out of time, got to go get the kids at school. So, gonna hit this last spot. See if there could be one more fish to put in this video. This spot right there. Let's go. How's that for a grand finale? Right there. Upper deck. Boom. That's how I like to finish it right there. Heck yes. Thanks, buddy. There you go. That way. Yes. Okay, let's wrap this video up here. So, I'm trying, guys. I'm trying really hard to think of something negative or something bad about the reels, which sounds probably kind of weird, but I just can't think of anything that I did not like about either one of those reels. What, backlashed? I had 2 small backlashes over a period of fishing for 2, maybe 3 hours, sometimes throwing into the wind that was ripping in my face, 15 miles an hour. Big deal. That's it. That's all that I can think of. I absolutely love both of these reels. In terms of the biggest difference, Yes, there is one. There's definitely something that does separate these two reels in terms of if I was just comparing them, the one thing that I would say is the main difference is the size. The Spartacus 2 is honestly the smallest, most lightweight reel that I've ever thrown in my entire life. I own 5 other baitcaster reels from KastKing, and this one is without a doubt the smallest and most lightweight. So that is really the biggest difference between the two. The great casting distance with both of them, super smooth retrieves. And I think that the proof is in the pudding. Well, in this case, the proof is in the video. You guys got to see me fish them. Okay, you saw plenty of casts, you saw plenty of retrieves, and you actually got to see a few fish catches, which is an added bonus. So I love both of these. I would highly recommend them to anybody who is looking to add a new reel to their arsenal. Maybe it's your first reel. Guys, you cannot go wrong with either one of these. Again, we encourage you at KastKing to drop your comments below, drop your questions below. You will get a response from either myself or somebody over at KastKing. And again, we just appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Stick around for more videos coming your way soon. That's all I got for you guys. Have a great one. Thank you.